Good to see you. Okay.
So you can see a beautiful face of Sandeep Roy, how much happy you can see the happiness on his face. So he just did today program management professional PgMP. I want to share something here regarding Sandeep's success journey. And but I'll come to that in a while. First of all, I want to show you something that this is the scorecard he got. Strategic program management above target. Life cycle, benefit, governance, stakeholder above target. Sandeep, congratulations on your success journey. It has been one of the challenging success journey. It has been up and down, panic, non-panic, focused, so many things. So congratulations on clearing it. I'll come to you in a minute. Congratulations, Mr. Abdul Rahim, for making sure that 100% success record remains same. I would like you to start with it. I know that as we talked about Sandeep, on 10th May, he started the journey, but he is certified today in 3rd of November. It took a little bit more time. I want also to put some light there. And what did you learn in this journey from Sandeep? And how did you find it? Please, the journey in your own way, sir.
Okay. So first of all, congratulations, Sandeep, on this great journey. We had a longer discussion. Like you are among the students who took the most time with me this year, at least 5 months. Normally, we are getting 2 to 3 months, but the busy schedule that he had, especially in specific last week of every month, he was very, very busy. That's why he was losing the concentration and the focus. But like we always say that we are with you till you become the PGMP, and we take more responsibility than the student himself, pushing him, reminding him to motivate him, and keeping him on track. So I think at the end, as you have seen from the result, the hard work really paid off. From Sandeep, what I really liked about him was his determination. And once he was studying, he was studying 12 hours, midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I was in contact with him, and he was studying like a real student, like we used to do in our student life. So, congratulations. And now Sandeep can explain in his own words.
Please, Sandeep, go ahead.
Yes,
This is,
actually, yes.
yeah.
So actually, my schedule is such that 5 days of work, 5 days a week, I have work, and I didn't reveal this to you all. But actually, I am doing MBA in the weekends. So I didn't reveal this because I was afraid that you will not take me as a student because I have no free days. I have weekend MBAs, MBA classes, and 5 days work. So 7 days I am occupied. So without any free days, it was really challenging. And so that is why I think that if with 7 days occupied, if I can get certified, then I think anybody can get certified who enrolls for this program.
Okay. So, how was the exam? Can you walk us through the exam?
Yes. We had simulated mocks in preparation, the green background questions, the blue background questions. 50, at least 50% of the question came directly from those questions.
Hmm. Okay.
So,
Okay. The context of the questions was same as that.
yes,
That.
yes, the context.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, the context were similar.
Okay.
And rest of the 50% questions also had similar context from what is in the booklet. So what
Hmm.
I realized after this exam is that booklet is 100% relevant for the exam
Hmm.
point of view. Nothing comes out of the booklet.
Hmm.
Some of the questions were tricky questions. I told to Sami said that the first question was the hardest question that I faced. I
Hmm.
didn't even understand it.
Hmm.
And in the among the first four questions, I flagged three of the questions. They were
Hmm.
so difficult.
Hmm.
And some of the questions were situational questions. Like one of the questions that I remember now is that you are in you are in a meeting with the first meeting with the steering committee, the first meeting of the program, and you start to bring up a risk, and
Hmm.
the sponsor tells you to do not highlight the risk now. So what
Hmm.
will you do next? I
Hmm.
mean, and the options were to ask the sponsor to to let you convey about the risk or to follow the sponsor and just avoid speaking about the risk. The third question were that to build environment where we can discuss about this. The third option was better, but the question was as such that I'm in the meeting now, so I cannot build the environment right now. So some of the questions were tricky, and I found that the exam is trying to play around more with the phase where I am working on. They are trying to be more tricky to make us confused that which phase I am working on right now.
Hmm. Okay, okay. How did you took any kind of break in between the exam?
Yes, I took two breaks. Actually, my exam was scheduled in afternoon, and I barely slept last night. So, and I had a huge meal prepared by my mother. So, in the afternoon, I was feeling sleepy actually.
Hmm.
So I took a break, and it was some of the questions were, so relevant to the ones that we studied that I was getting tempted to pick the answers, even without looking at the questions or even select, look for the right answer straight away, which I
Hmm.
almost knew because I studied those parts many times. So, but I tried to avoid it as much as possible to avoid any mistake. And I flagged 11 questions. And after that, after I finished the exam within 3.5 hours. I took two breaks actually. Otherwise, I could have finished it in 3 hours. So after 3.5 hours, I reviewed the 11 flagged questions. I only corrected two of them, and then I submitted the paper. Submitted ended the exam. But while giving the exam, also I felt a sense of confidence that oh, I am going to pass. It was there.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Mr. Sami, uh, so please go ahead.
Okay, Sandeep, what I want to ask from you is the practice that we did, the amount of time that we did the mocks. Like I have your complete report that you were doing in front of me, how I was tracking you. So we did two, three times the PDF mocks, then we did three times simulator, then green background questions and the blue. So sometimes you were getting frustrated that why we have to do again and again. So once while doing so many times, then when you go in the exam, what is the confidence that gives you, number one? And secondly, like you said that you have practiced so much that you were directly going to the answers. So how would you recommend doing the like giving the exam by attempting only one time or by doing at least two or three times like we are doing in our regular routine?
Hmm. Okay.
So regarding the confidence, actually I prepared last month also for the exam, but I was not scoring high. One of the reason was you gave us a PDF mock, and yeah, there was a video explanation of you explaining each answer. So I did not watch that video. I attended one of those classes few months back, but I forgot about this. This time I started preparing from those videos, and when I saw you explaining those videos in those videos why each option was correct and why each option was incorrect. So that was, the changing part for me, which made my score grow from 70% to 90%. That how the process, what you were thinking to eliminate each option, and some of the keywords which we were saying, like benefits for benefits register is the KPI and threshold. For benefit management plan, it is KPI and metrics. So those things stuck in my mind, and it was after the first four questions scared me, but I was prepared for those. Even Ahmed sir told me yesterday that the some questions will be test questions, and they will be to not be feared, to not be afraid by those. So that was in my mind. But the first question, four questions were really tricky. But from the fifth question, I when I saw that okay, the context is getting very relevant to what I have already learned. So I started getting in my forte, and I kept on answering. I think I could have finished the paper in 2.5 hours. The preparation was as such, and yes, I for the confidence level, I think doing the green background questions, the blue background questions, the latest set of questions, and the simulator mocks which are given, that is enough. If one gets 90% in those, then one can, one is prepared to give the exam.
Okay. That is very important and looked into that context. Okay. Mr. Sami, you have been conducting a weekly coaching call, right? For PGMP students. And recently you did even multiple coaching calls before going to holidays. Sandeep, how many coaching calls you joined?
Actually, I remember I joined from coaching call number 120 to at least 50 coaching calls I joined. I think
So,
not 50. It will be 40. I think 40.
why coaching calls are important for those people who are preparing for the exam? What is the benefit of the coaching call, and why would you recommend to other students? Because we have a lot of students here with us. Why would you recommend to those students that why they should for sure join the coaching calls?
So I think the coaching call is the main purpose why I passed this exam. So as I told that I have 7 days occupied with
Mm,
one activity or another. I have no free days.
mm,
So when these regular coaching calls were happening, and even when during the question answer session, by watching these videos only, it stuck in my mind. I practiced the questions. Uh, the thing is that I didn't study the PGMP book, the official book. I just studied the booklet, and I just attended the coaching calls. And that what I found from the exam is you do not need anything else, any other
mm,
materials. Just the blue background questions, the green background questions, the
mm,
simulator mocks, and the booklet. And
mm,
90% questions will come common,
mm.
and
That-
50% of them will almost be uh, similar.
So that is one of the reason why Mr. Sami keep on updating the simulator to make sure that it remains updated and
Yes,
it
yes.
remains worked into that way. Okay, Mr. Sandeep, now with you, follow-up has been so intense, so interesting. We haven't talked about this thing. I'm gonna talk it. Mr. Sandeep was planned to give exam a month back, right? When was your
Yes,
exam plan?
yes.
A month
6th of
back.
September.
It was on 6,
6th of September.
yeah, 6th of February.
Mr. Sami called me and shared me his scorecard. Now uh, I'm very crazy about my students. Mr. Sami is a little bit more sane. I'm very crazy and obsessed about my student. He knows that. So when he shared this question, no, this is not going to happen. We discussed at length and we discussed with Sandeep at length. And finally, now this is something everyone sees here that we have 100% success record. Everyone sees here that all everyone is clearing with all about target. What they don't say is that how much deep relationship we have with our students. Mr. Sandeep, I and Mr. Sami had a detailed discussion, and Mr. Sandeep gave his best, and then he said that I agree with you. Let's reschedule the exam. So I love to say that Sandeep, it proved something. God delay is not his denial, right? We went to the exam and we have different result. I'm 100% sure if you have given exam a month back, maybe the result would have turned out to be positive.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe it would have 50-50 chance. Maybe it would have worked out, or maybe it wouldn't have.
Yeah,
But after giving the exam, I'm realizing that it was the right call to reschedule the exam.
the most important thing is to do the Monte Carlo analysis, to do understand the scores, understand your students, and then work for it. And that's what we are known for. Mr. Sami, I want to discuss that intuition of your. I want to discuss this thing. Why you went towards that? This was the first time we did that thing, right? We have been working for PGMP. Mr. Sami has been supporting me, facilitating me for last 2 years. This is the first time. He said to me, and we had multiple discussion. Mr. Sami, can you put some lights on that?
Yes, and as you already said, we have his PGMP number 49 with passing all in the first attempt. So he's the only student, I would like to say, in the live session in which I forced to reschedule the exam. Normally, we are rescheduling to bring it ahead. Like we had 4 or 5 students, they came to us while they already scheduled the exam, and with their preparation, like you remember, Mr. Anas, Mr. Feroz, we brought them 1 month earlier. But in case of Sandeep, 1 week before, I think end of August, I told to him that you have to reschedule the exam. But he said that he has already taken 6 days off and he will prepare and he will go and take the exam. I told to him that unless you understand the concepts, it will be difficult. I would like to say that from my perspective, I didn't tell to Sandeep that day. If he would have taken the exam on 6th of September, I am sure he would pass. But he would pass with target. Okay, number one. And secondly, the confidence in which he was about to sit in the exam, that was not there. And that is the only worrisome point that I forecasted, that because this is 4 hours exam is not about the content. It's about playing with your nerves. How much confident you are while sitting in the exam. I think with the mentality, with the approach, you go in the exam 50%, you pass or fail the exam, and then only 50% is only about the content that is really coming. So based on his score, and not only the score, he was scoring 70%, and I'm sure, Mr. Ahmed, that the content that we have, even if you are scoring 70%, you can pass the exam. But how he was not in calm situation, he was not fully concentrated, he was in a rush, and while you are in a rush you cannot be confident to take the exam. So that was the only reason we requested him, and he was kind enough that he said that we will I love his terms that Sandeep was always using, the technical terms. He said we will make a phase gate review 48 hours before. Remember, Amir? And we said, okay, every day I'm doing the health check, but phase gate review we will make then 51 hours before we rescheduled his exam. I already have the date. If we scheduled on 4th of September in the afternoon, because and he said that we are going on 3rd of October. And interestingly, there were no slots in his center where his hometown is. He has traveled now to Kolkata, I think, from taken a flight, come here to take the exam. But the point is that from my perspective, I'm thankful to Sandeep. He listened to me, and the positive point from us is that you have to be calm at least 1 week or 10 days before you sit in the exam. This is 100% sure. You cannot crack the exam, you cannot remember the things and sit in the exam by taking 6 days off, 3 days off. You have to be consistent. You have to understand the flow of the sequence of instructions like we have written in the booklet. I think that is my take on this, and Sandeep can give more light on that because he was the actual person who was assessing him in those period. Yes, Sandeep.
Actually, I think the follow up part was the most important part for me actually, because it is a long journey, and I definitely would have gave up if the follow up was if I didn't get regular follow ups. So for a person like me who couldn't commit so much time, who was busy 7 days a week, so that follow up part was the most essential part. So I'm certain that I wouldn't have passed this exam. I wouldn't have, came close to giving the exam in the entire year if there was if you hadn't followed up with me. So that follow up part was very essential.
Hmm. Follow part was very essential. Sandeep, now let's talk about the most important thing. What were your feelings for last 24 hours? Now, this is a very important thing. I just gave my portfolio exam, and I was telling Mr. Abdul Rahim that just before the exam, in the night, I threw away my notes, things like that. We'll see what happens. Because I am a person who studied even last responsible moment. Even I threw the books, but in the morning, when I was going, my wife was dropping me, I was still reading the exam content outline, right? So just to be make sure that I get the above thing. Interestingly, and now I don't know Mr. Sami knows that or not. I have never gotten all above target in any of the PM exam. PgMP I got in governance, it is target all. In PM, I am not sure. I'll check about my PgMP. In portfolio, governance is down. So, but I'm happy that all my students are getting above target. Maybe it's because of Mr. Sami and everything here. What was your last 24 hours plan?
Yes, one of the things that was giving me confidence was that every student of semester was passing with above target. So that was in my mind that that if I am studying, even my batchmates, Mr. Akhtar, they have passed with above target. So I was thinking that even if I do 10 to 15%, I shouldn't be thinking like this, but there was a safety net that I knew that even if I was adapting 10 to 15% and I was answering 10 to 50% lower, then also I will pass the exam. And but I was getting 90% and 92% in the mocks. So in the last 24 hours, I was gaining much confidence. In the last 2 days, I was calm and I was quite confident. Even while giving the exam, after just 50 questions, I started to realize that okay, I'm going to pass this exam. because it was so much aligned with that. Yeah, I mean, what was taught. Even I was expecting like, okay, maybe 60% or 70% would be relevant. I mean, some things are like out of syllabus, something like that. But I would say that 90% is direct can be directly traced with the booklet or the questions that were taught,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
50, yes, and 50% were very similar.
Okay, okay, okay. That's an important. Mr. Sami, let's talk about the most important thing. The green background questions. The green background questions that we have. You are continuously updating. Now you also have a blue background. The other one is the blue
Yes.
background. Like he
Yes.
showed me, I said, why you are changing the backgrounds? He said that, yeah, I want to update it. So I made it a differentiation. How important those green background and blue background, and what are these? Because even many people buy over simulator, these things are not available in simulator. We don't sell it. That is a part of our program. Can you put lights, Mr. Sami, on it?
So the most difficult part in PGMP is to understand the exam content outline. When we made the analysis 2 years before, when we started our program, the feedback that we got from the students, from other trainers, was that nobody was understanding the eco. And I think the exam is primarily based on exam content outline. And the reason why we developed the green background question was to put into the scenario how the questions can be made from eco. Because if you read the eco, you cannot remember the line. Even if you remember all the lines, you cannot understand the flow, what is written in those 10 to 15 words of every task of the eco. So there are 72 tasks in the exam content outline, and from my thinking, minimum 60 to 70 questions must come from the exam content outline. But they will not ask directly the straightforward questions. There will be no straightforward questions of the eco, but you have to understand the content of that. So the main reason with the green background questions are primarily telling you how can you understand the exam content outline. So Sandeep, before we go to the blue background questions, please give your input on the green background questions, which are directly coming from the eco.
Yeah. So I got 20 questions directly from the eco, but more questions I may have got. It was disguised in other form. So, but 20 direct questions that I can trace, that easily it's coming from the eco. Then even the blue background questions, at least I would say 20 to 25 that I can trace. I'm now noting down the questions. 20 to 25 questions are directly from the blue background. So, uh, uh, I mean, the relevance of these questionnaires, the green background, the blue background, if someone prepares those, and I mean, they will be prepared for the exam, as I say. They're 100% relevant.
Okay.
And before we continue, and Sandeep, how you were able to understand, or I would say remember the exam content outline, because you were weak into that, but in last 20 days we were much more focused on the eco. So what was the technique that you used to understand and remember this eco?
Actually, as I told, the changing point was watching your those video calls where you explain
Mm,
almost, I think, 450 questions. You
yes.
were explaining why each option was correct, wrong, and why each option was right. I attended those class, but at that time my preparation was not as high, so I was not understanding every bit of detail. When I was prepared, then I could pick up that what you were speaking, and some of those were golden words. I mean, I noted them down what you were speaking, and then when I checked, like you said, mission statement is with the program direction.
Mm,
So it was very important. I mean, analyzing what you said, it was very easy to study the eco later, like responsibility assignment metrics to differentiate between those project teams, program teams. So
Hmm.
while the yeah, so the eco was much easier when I watched your videos. I was seeing that more lots of questions are coming from eco, and the eco is just the sentence
mm.
that are addressing the problem that is also already addressed in the question. So I would say that watching those videos of yours clarifying helped me to understand the eco much more. Otherwise, I was not understanding. Like master schedule, I did not even understand why we are picking master schedule. Then you say that activities has to be in master schedule when activities working in
Mm.
workshop. And so these small things, I mean, made me understand this PGMP part. and that is how I moved from 70% to 90%.
Right. And what about the magic grid that we have summarized those 37 activities? How relevant was it for the exam preparation for sure? And in the relevant exam, in which phase are you operating? Like you said, you are in the definition phase, planning, or delivery phase. How relevant is that magic grid to understand the flow of the life cycle?
So before giving the exam, I was not so sure, but after giving the exam, I think that they are trying to play more with the phase, the exams. They are trying to play more with determining what is the phase. So magic grid is very relevant because I got so many questions where the planning part is written that you are doing management planning, not management. So,
Mhm.
so those activities you are doing. So I knew that it would be an output of the management plans. So the magic grid was very relevant. It was more relevant than I thought it would be. Even those questions came that procurement from procurement management part, that RFQ, RFP, RFI. I knew that won't come in the management planning part. So I didn't choose those options.
That is in the
So
delivery
the
part.
magic grid is very, very relevant. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. The,
So
it
means
was
that
very relevant.
only with those five tables you can cover at least 20 to 25 questions like we have forecasted.
Yes. Yes, only thing I didn't find relevant with what was taught in the class was the collaboration part. Surprisingly, as I told that all the collaboration answers were wrong. The options were wrong. I was finding it. It was back in my mind that okay, the collaborating part will be the right answer. But in my, I mean, the exam that I got, the question paper I got, the collaboration question, all the collaboration options were not good. I mean, the first part of the option were right, and the second part of the options were wrong. So apart from that, I mean, everything from Magic Grid to Eco, everything came as it is.
Good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much about this. Tell me about agile. So, how many questions were there regarding agile,
I think five questions was there regarding agile, and no formula-based questions,
formula
zero
based
formula questions.
formula? What about communication and collaboration demand?
Lots of questions. It was only communication, collaboration, benefits. I was starting to think that they are not asking any live. Most questions were from communication benefits that and governance also. So I found less questions from life cycle actually, and more about those differentiating between communication register, benefits register, benefits management plan, communication management plan. More questions were regarding those.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Sami, anything that you would like to ask? But before that, Mohit, F's iPhone Abdullah, thank you for participating. If you have any question, please go ahead. It's your time to ask the question. That is one of the thing when you join our program, you get that insight that you can ask the question. Anyone has any question, you can raise your hand at any time. Yes, Mr.
Eh,
Sami, go ahead.
Sandeep, and what about the program charter, program business case, and a program management plan? Because we had a lot of discussions. What is there in that thing, and then we covered as per the keywords in the booklet. Was there any such questions about those benefit register, benefits management plan, and charter and the business case?
Yes, sir. One question was there that it gives a visual for delivery of ROI. So that is a
Okay,
program management plan actually.
correct.
So one point was there regarding, and then those vision, mission, goals, objectives. Like I said, what you said were the golden words. Before my preparation was not as such, but when I heard you explaining the vision, mission, goals, objectives, that two to three questions I could answer just by that the option will be chartered.
Okay, and I would like to say that what I found from Sandeep in the last 15 minutes, like to prepare in a sequence. Like for example, what I tell that first you have to attempt PDF mocks, was the coaching call, and then you jump to the simulator. Because 1 month before you were directly jumping to the simulator, and when we were
Yes.
doing the root cause analysis, that why is it that you're not crossing the 70%? Then after 3 4 days when we had daily discussion, then ultimately we discovered that you have not watched the coaching call. So what is your take on directly jumping to the simulator or the blue or green background questions, and going step by step, going sequence by sequence? What is the best approach that you would recommend?
Yes, yes, I didn't follow the right sequence. That is why my exam got delayed by 1 month actually. So the roadmap which you had set, that is the right way. I actually didn't pay much attention to the first step, and I directly went to the simulator. So that was one mistake I made. So I should have followed the roadmap, and that is why 1 month is delayed for me. So definitely the sequence is very important.
Hmm. Sequence is very important, and sequence is something that we need to look into that. So that's a very important thing, Mr. Sami. Putting that in the context, we are going to achieve 50 PGMP probably in this month very soon. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for becoming the 49th PGMP. We could never achieve the 50th one if
I
we
was
did.
hoping to be the 50th.
No, this is more. I know everyone does. I'm more happy that you are the 49th. Without you, we could never reach the 50th. Thank you very much, Mr. Sami, Abdullah, and Mohit. Now, this is what I want to say to everyone who will watch this video when I post it there. If all of them, 49 people, can clear PGMP with a 100% success record, why can't you? The system that we have built from step one till final step, till we record your journey, has been designed for only one purpose, that you really become PGMP. And I'm sure once we achieve that 50th PGMP very soon, we will be ending this year with more than 70 PGMP. And I'm 100% sure we can get it with a 100% success record. If they can do it, there is no reason why you can't do it. Thank you very much, everybody. Sandeep, do send me your picture, and I did tag you on that LinkedIn. And once you get the certificate, also share with me. Thank you, Abdullah, Mohit, and Mr. Sami for joining.